Well, welcome back to Night School. I'm Jessie Zand.
I'm Alana Cloud Robinson.
I'm Izzy Hunter. What? I can't see out of this eye. Sorry, the mic is not in my periphery whatsoever.
And welcome to the New Year's episode.
Woo! Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
What's
New
that
Year, new
song
me.
that
The ABBA song?
No.
Oh. Happy New
Like,
Year.
it's like Irish. It's the Irish song they all sing on something laud.
For God.
Can we, the first thing I need to say about New Year's is the best scene in a rom-com, maybe ever. The monologue with Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal in When Harry Met Sally. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And Old Lang, whatever is playing.
Old Lang. That's the song I'm
Old
talking
Lang.
about. Old Lang. That's not Irish, is it?
I think it's in Gaelic. I'm not sure.
Gaelic.
Look,
What was the question?
Odd Lang.
We also have
language.
Kaylin back in the studio audience. Kaylin back in the studio
I'll
audience.
do it because I could spell it, I think. Let me
Yeah,
see.
I struggle with
What?
I would not know how to spell that. But it's the best monologue because he's like, I hate the way you do this and that, and I hate the way you're
It's in
always
Scottish.
Oh, okay. I was kind of close. It's such a good monologue. He's saying all the things he hates about her. And he's like, this is what happens when you want to wake up next to someone every day or something. It's like so romantic. And then she's like, God, you always do this. And you make me, and I can't hate you or something. And it's so good.
Love to, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that archetype in romance where it's like lovers to
Frenemies. Lovers to enemies.
Lovers to enemies.
No, it's enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers, yeah. Okay, so kicking off this New Year's episode, as we're about to close out 2024, we've had so many exciting things happening. I feel like it's only natural to ask, what are some resolutions you guys have?
Answer texts within 3 to 5 hours. I'm getting them.
Instead of 3 to 5
I wish I
business
could join
days.
you on that, champ, but I am not setting myself up for failure this year. My
12
New Year's
hours.
resolution is that everyone accepts me for the way I am.
Yeah, that's valid.
Responding to texts in 3 to 5 hours. Just
Just
maybe,
I'm like weeks of like not responding, and it's not even because I literally read the text. I'm like, oh yeah, there's my response. Sent.
So I'm the same way though. I'm the exact same way.
Never sent it.
It's never ignoring. It's like there's also the horrible thing where I wake up early, I check my phone, I read everything. Oh yeah, oh okay, yeah. Go back to bed, wake up,
gone.
Gone. What text?
What text?
I mean, to each their own. You guys have been pretty responsive over the last.
Yeah, but you've also learned our language.
That's
hey guys,
true.
Hey guys, checking in again.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, guys,
I circle back a lot.
Circling
You
back
do.
on this,
Yeah.
and we're like, we need to be circled back
We need
with.
to be circled back many times. You need to just keep us in the circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
Don't go
merry-go-round.
back. Just keep us
Yeah.
in the
A
circle.
carousel.
Yeah,
Put us-
exactly.
Stick us on the carousel.
Lazy Susan,
Wait
bring it
next
around
to
town.
it.
Yep, exactly.
Because I think, as we described in 2 episodes ago, you guys are the soot sprites from
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Spirited Away.
Spirited Away.
Yeah. Just too much going on up here. I don't know. It's not even mostly important. It's just a lot. So I'm with you on that. But what are your other resolutions? I really jumped in and was like, haha, yes.
Psych.
Text.
I want to make a movie.
Love.
That's it, pretty much. I don't want to set myself up for utter failure. And I feel like there's been years where I just set these like crazy resolutions. Like I'm going to work, anything working out related, never putting that in my resolutions. Although I did talk to a friend who's a personal trainer at that party we were at this week. And he gave me some advice that I'm going to take and
Love.
maybe use. I
Yeah.
don't know. I want to lose 0.5 pound.
Lose 0.5 pound, answer my texts. Those
That's-
are fair resolutions.
honestly-
Pretty on brand.
You might be able to achieve those things.
Maybe
Yes.
even within the first week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Skip a lunch and send a message.
The New Year's
You got it.
resolutions don't matter past February because if you're not doing them already, if you're not on your trajectory and
Yeah.
added this new thing to your life, it's not happening. You're not going to be in July being like, well, on my New Year's resolution right now. No.
Yeah, no, there's no way. You actually, my recommendation would actually be to start it before the new year to
true.
really start to hammer it
Actually,
in.
yeah, let's all start us now.
Yeah.
What's yours?
My New Year's resolution.
Hate men less.
No.
Yeah, thank you, Kaylin. I think to be less judgmental of everything, of myself, of other people, to practice a bit more being present. I think I am so hyper fixated on the future, and it's why, you know, we're able to do this and put it out, and I'm, you know, it's because I'm militant about it, and I love doing it. That's the thing too. That's the part that I was talking about this in therapy. Like, my favorite part of the month is the fact that, like, I get to meet up with you guys and we get to yap and, like, or we get to go out to Chucho and, like, yap our brains off and you know, run shit and run ideas and be collaborative. And then, you know, a lot of it is a lot of work after, you know? And I think I do love cutting. Like, I love editing. There's so much fun in that for me. It's like a level, it's for a control freak. It's a fucking dream. I mean, I'm getting to play God every week.
Yeah. On your own podcast.
On my own
It's such a
podcast.
gift, but at the same time, you do have a regular job and it's exhausting.
Yeah. And I think just practicing the gratitude and the presence of, like, so much more in this podcast. We've hit over 500 subscribers. We've, you know, I'm getting more gigs in comedy. I feel stronger on stage than ever. There's so much joy that I feel is in my life. And so when I get into these lulls and these depressive episodes, it feels so disconnected because I'm like, wow, this is the first time in my life that I'm not like, oh, what the fuck am I doing? I know exactly what I'm doing, but, you know, I struggle to kind of remember that. So I think just practicing less judgment on myself and knowing that, like, everything in divine timing is happening, and to really sit in these moments with you guys and be like, God, this is so fun. And also to maybe take my Adderall less, because I didn't take it today and I've been having a fucking blast, let me tell you. I feel like I'm really rolling. And so I think it's practicing less judgment and finding a little bit more balance. Yeah.
I love that.
I want to practice more judgment.
Love that
I
too.
get so angry all the time. Let's keep
With
it going.
good reason, apparently.
With good reason, though. I feel like
people are irritating.
They are.
100%. I think one tea. Like, just
Tea.
absolutely.
Tea. I got the tea before we started.
Yeah,
Tea.
yeah.
Bam.
What about you?
I would like to finish my book in a timely fashion that doesn't kill me. And I'm very grateful this past year I really developed a work ethic in terms of writing, because it's very hard to have a work ethic with writing.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially without anyone.
Yes, with nobody breathing down your neck, it's hard. Now that I have an agent, it feels like there's a little bit more behind me. Not in terms of pressure, but just like I like a deadline. It feels like there's somebody I'm responsible to now.
Definitely.
There's somebody who
That's a good
actively would
feeling.
like to read what I'm working on and wants to help me advance it forward. But similarly to you, I need to find a way to be a little bit more grateful and a little less hard on myself, because I spent many years just kind of like doing nothing and languishing a little bit. And now that I have this goal and this dream and this ambition, I've also taken it to a bit of a militant place. And the militant place is what drives things forward, but it's also what makes me sometimes not leave the house for days on end and sacrifice a lot of health and wellness and mental care and all these different things and socializing. I would like to figure out the balance, because I know that it's like, depending on who you talk to, it's like you talk to one person and they're like, that's what it takes. And then you talk to another person, they're like, balance is really important. So I'd like to find just a little bit of balance. I would like the majority of it to be the grind and the majority of it to be how intense I've been, because that is what it requires, especially doing something that is like so kind of like old school. Like writing is, it's like writing books is a very old school thing to be getting into. But I would like just a tiny bit of balance. Like maybe, you know, I go for a walk at some point during the day.
Figuring out how to schedule that into your militant schedule.
Yeah. Because I've had enough days of waking up at 7 and then it's dark all of a sudden. And I'm like, I've dissociated for hours and I'm like.
Treat yourself.
Yeah. And it never feels like wasted time, but I have started to feel like, what is this doing to me physically and mentally? It's like I have words on the page to show for it, but it's like, at what cost?
And what could you have created if you had taken a step back? What could have been sparked? It's not that it won't be sparked. It won't be sparked
Might be in a
hours.
different way.
It's not that, and even in the let's say it's been dusk till dawn of work, and you probably would have come to the same logical jumps and conclusions and inspiration would have struck. But what if you had taken that 15-minute break? Maybe you wouldn't have had those 2 hours of push and fight. Maybe it would have just come to you more naturally.
And also, I think it's like when you turn anything into a schedule.
Yes.
It just becomes a part of things. That walk could become a part of the ideating time before things go onto paper. Whereas, like, more recently, anytime I step away from my desk, it's like, I feel like I'm being dragged away. I'm like, no, what if, And there's been times where I've like gone to meet up with a friend when I'm like when I have a good inspiration and I come home and it's gone and I feel really guilty. So I just have to be better about managing my own.
Yeah, I feel you on that because I feel I've had those. I so relate to having those moments of like, oh, I've hit a streak right now, whether it's editing or writing. You
don't want to walk away.
And you don't want to walk away. And to your point about what it does to you physically, like I've hit points where I'm like, my entire back is fucked up because I've been hunched over a desk and I've been editing for, 8 hours straight or writing. And your body at some point will give out, and it's like finding the balance between the inspiration. I also think too, just like in a practical sense, and you probably know this, but even just for the listeners, like sometimes I'll bring my phone out and it's like, I'll bring my phone with me and I'll like put it in like a fanny pack. And then if like something hits me while I'm on the walk, I'll either like dictate it into it or just write it down. So I don't feel like it's lost and I can refer back to it. But it also is nice to just say like,
it just has to become a part of the schedule. That's my biggest resolution is like remembering that I'm not just like a floating brain. Yeah. And that I have to take care of everything it's attached to.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah.
Valid.
I feel like for me, I like am so militant about it sometimes, and then I'll be like, I deserve a break, and I won't open my computer for 4 days. And then sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's too much, and I'm like neglecting.
That's why I bought the phone box.
Yeah. Oh, the phone box was so funny.
We need to get sponsored by the phone box.
The phone box.
I'm not going to say the brand of the phone box
until we're sponsored by it.
But I have a box. We can put a photo in.
Yeah, let's put a photo in the box. It looks like it looks like a food box that you lock cookies away in.
It is. That's like it's intended for like food, drugs, anything
for
you're trying to for anything you're trying to abstain from.
My 8-ball in there. Yeah. That's not gonna throw it against the wall and break it. Yeah. I'm not even into Coke. I just thought that was funny.
It was.
Just to clarify.
Like when you're trying to like also I was thinking about the drug thing. It's like it's going to unlock at some point. So what is the thought behind it? It's like, I get a treat in 4 days. Like, I'm going to put my 8-ball in the box.
Yeah, I'm going to put my black tar heroin in there in 4 days.
Yeah, and also aren't you more likely to like do too much if you're like waiting?
Yeah. Not that I'm promoting heroin use at all.
I'm not using it for drugs. I'm using it for my phone. But I put my phone in it and it's been amazing. It's been like life-changing. I put my phone in the box when I wake up. I'll wake up and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be inspired. I want to look at TikTok. I want to find out my news on TikTok and look up recipes. And I put the phone in the box, and within 3 minutes, I'm like...
Amazing.
And within 3 minutes, it's 2004. Yeah. And I'm like firing on all cylinders.
I know. I'll do that sometimes. Yeah. I'll just leave my phone upstairs, or like sometimes I just let it die overnight. And in the morning, I'll wake up and read a book or read an essay. And I'm like, wow, my brain is working to the capacity that it should right now. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm able to kind of just like, I'll put it on Do Not Disturb and I'll just leave it alone.
I have noticed that your phone is on Do Not Disturb all the time.
All the time. Same. I have purposeful focus modes. So there's one mode called Fuck Off, and that is designed for only emergency. There's also Force Field, which is only for my parents who can only break the force field. But yeah, I'll just put it on Do Not Disturb. And I think because I'm on my phone so much for my day job, there is like a level of like, get me the fuck away. Like I can, there's like an emotional thing about it where I'm just like, no, I get this the fuck away from me. Yeah. I don't want to be on it. But then there are times where I'm like, TikTok, oh my God, wait.
It's just nice to turn off your brain sometimes. Like that's the addiction for me. Yes. It's like, I just want to brain rot when my brain go burr.
Speaking of brain rot, Kaylin introduced me to Shawty Bae. Do you know who that is?
Oh, the Latina girl?
See?
Boo, I've known who she is for 5 years.
That's what I'm like.
Literally.
How did
Shawty
you not
Bae?
know? Basic information.
She's a fucking. I haven't seen her in years, but I was like during the pandemic, she held me
New
down.
teeth, new whole nine, whole
Does she look
nine.
good?
Gingivitis for a bit.
What's her name?
Shawty
Shawty
Bae.
Bae.
Get ready, because it's a level. It's like it's the dark side of TikTok.
Let me just see if I recognize her
It's not
face.
the dark side of things.
I don't know, Kaylin. It's pretty fucking dark. It's pretty fucking dark in there.
Yeah.
Did she yesify herself?
She needs a
Yeah.
social worker.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I've seen this.
everybody knows her
Person.
but you, Jesse.
I've seen this person.
She's been around for actual years. Like she invented TikTok to me.
What is her? What does she do? What's her thing?
What's her condition? Unclear.
Is her name
No,
like
I just mean, like,
Jasmine
what's
or
her-
something?
I
Not
think it's Jasmine.
What does she
Vanessa,
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just Shawty Bae.
She just makes videos talking about her crushes and her
She's
boyfriends.
was in a relationship, got cheated on, or she cheated actually.
Tea.
And
That's
now
a
she's
crazy-
with someone else. I'm like, man, this girl pulls.
More than me.
Oh hell no, my chair is showing. I need to put sweater right now. There you go. What you mean? I will go like this. My coolie, my chair.
It's a level
Mesmerizing.
of welcome to Shawty Bae
Pack
TikTok,
with me to go to Vegas. I would love to pack with you to go to Vegas.
and she's now got a Sheen sponsorship.
That's
That
amazing.
tracks.
She's
I
got
want to
a
see what she is. She blonde or anything now? Did she dye
yeah,
her
she's
hair?
blonde. She's got a
redhead
live-in
for a
boyfriend
bit.
that's
No, she's
now
a redhead. It looks
that's
like.
now on TikTok live talking to another woman, and they're flirting while he's living in Shawty Bae's house.
Well, she always looks for mess. I feel like she's always something. She lives for the mess. She's chaos.
It was dark. I went down that hole. I was like, you're right, Kaylin. She needs a social worker.
I want to make sure this is the same girl I'm thinking. I mean, it has
is.
to be
It
Jasmine.
is.
Yeah.
Shawty Bae.
Yeah. There's the one and only. There's no one else.
Shout out Shawty Bae.
Look at
Get her on the
Ilana.
podcast.
Honestly, we would love to have
Shawty
you,
Bae, we would
Bae.
love to
I
have you
would
on the
fly out
podcast.
here if you guys had Shawty Bae on the podcast.
I
Yeah.
feel like she'd be down.
Cold DM right now.
Are you gonna write to her?
Hello.
She's
My
perfect.
friends and I have
Can we talk about how we have talked about having a guest on the show, and we've been like, we should hit him up, and now this is the first person that has compelled Ilana.
No, I've tried, but it's like I can't. There's a lot of people that are a level of famous that I can't DM them unless they're following me.
Oh yes. But Shawty Bae,
her DMs
DMs
are
are
open.
open.
Do you know whose DMs are open for you?
Who?
Chet Hanks.
Do we have to?
I'm not dealing with that again. Because
I feel
it's not
the
even him. I
workout
think it's like a
thing.
social media manager
Yeah, that's true.
who harassed me.
That was Chet
That was a nightmare.
Chet Banks.
That was a nightmare. I'll speak on it openly.
Oh,
I'll
you'll
tell-
speak on it OT?
Yeah, it's I'll speak on it openly. I DM'd Chet Hanks because I thought I thought it was funny, and he said he hadn't had white sex in 15 years. So I DM'd him, and under the guise of he was when he was doing his workout program, and I DM'd him, and I was like, hey, like I'm trying to get in shape, and it opened up this insane can of worms because I think he had someone managing the account, but basically it was like he set up a call. I spoke to him on the phone, and it was, he really just wanted to talk about my fitness goals. There was nothing.
No romance.
Like, I'll talk about this openly because he was a gentleman and a professional.
Shout out Chet Hanks.
Yeah,
I've
he
never
was,
got that from
he was, oh yeah, he was zero. There was zero intrigue. And then he started messaging me and was like, it's, time to sign up and realize your goals or whatever. And I was like, I'm actually really going through something right now. I can't really handle that. I was like going through a breakup and everything. And I
I'm
was
just
like, I
looking
kind of thought this
for-
was my redemption arc. It's clearly not. And then I think I said that, and he was like, what about a revenge body? And I was like, okay, I appreciate
What
it,
a
but please
salesman.
leave me alone now. And I think that there was somebody, again, I think he had like a social media manager, because at one point he was messaging so much that I literally sent a photo of me crying. And I was like, I am really not in a good place mentally. I cannot join your workout program right now. I'm so sorry. I really appreciate
the
it.
DMs.
And like the person responded and was like, but are you ready to realize your goals? And I was just like, and then immediately after, like an hour later, there was another message that was like, I'm very sorry to hear that. Let me know if you change your mind and want to get in the best shape of your life.
I feel like one of them was him.
I think the one that was
the
apologetic was him.
apologizing,
Yeah.
But I feel like there was a social media manager that was in there and was like, let's slay queen, turn that frown upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a burpee right now. Do a burpee right now, bitch.
While you're crying.
While you're crying.
Yeah. Nothing dries tears like the wind rushing past your face as you run a 10K. So I was like, that was my experience with Chet Hanks.
I'm going to start DMing random celebrities on Instagram just because it would be funny.
Do it.
Just to come on our podcast. Like, I'm just going to think of whoever I would want and just cold DM them.
I know.
'Cause sometimes they
Tana
do.
Mongeau, wait, hold on, let me do. Tana Mongeau, this is my plea. That came out of my mouth and I don't even know what that was, that sound. Tana Mongeau, this is my plea. I am obsessed with you. Kaylin, our dear friend in the studio audience, introduced me to you while we were in college. And I have the OG canceled merch that you came out with in 2020 with your scamming manager, Jordan Rorona, or whatever the fuck his name is. And I still have it to this day. I love you. Please come on the podcast. It would be my dream. You are not canceled in my eyes, queen. I'll do anything, okay? I will take Paige's job for a month and a half, and I will be the best assistant you've ever had on top of my 4 other jobs just to have you on this podcast. I beg of you.
Everyone make an impassioned plea. Who's yours?
Your impassioned plea for your dream guest.
Is it Catherine Hardwick?
Oh, we've already pleaded. I'm trying to think. Give me a second.
Anna Delvey?
Honestly, Jen Shaw. Jen Shaw, if there is any way we can do like a virtual thing, I've heard you're on good behavior, your sentence just got reduced a month.
Good for her.
We want you here. Actually, any of the housewives.
Lisa
of Salt
Barlow.
Lake. Lisa Barlow, Heather Gay, receipts, screenshots,
DMs. Timelines.
timelines.
Bronwyn.
Bronwyn.
Bronwyn, you can bring
Bronwyn,
all
pull
of your
up.
coats. We won't even be on the podcast. It can just be you with the coats that you have in this
Yeah.
room.
Could we wear your coats?
Could we wear the
your
big heart
Palm
one?
Pilot money coats?
Your Palm Pilot one. Bro, any of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I beg of you, please come on
Even
this podcast.
Monica, come through.
Oh, Monica,
pull up.
Monica, pull up.
So any of the Salt Lake housewives.
Any of the
I
Salt
would
Lake
say.
Housewives would be.
Or Jane Fonda. She would be sick.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't know what to say to her.
I'd be like, what kind of fruit would you be if you were a fruit? I don't know.
I'd be like, what was it like filming Clute? And she'd be like, and like that
No, I'd be like,
scene
what
in
was
the
it like
office.
filming Monster in
Law,
Law?
one of the best movies of all time.
Is that the
Of
one
all
with
time.
J-Lo?
Yes.
Amazing.
Incredible.
J-Lo can act.
Me
She really
zipping into
can.
the skirt was like that scene where she's trying to put on that dress
Yeah.
that she got her.
Yeah.
Her ass couldn't fit in this. This is probably ripped too. We didn't do the ad read either.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hold up. It's almost New Year's. Do you have a dress? Because if you don't, Jesse's wearing one.
Funny
That is
girl vintage,
Funny girl vintage.
babe.
Look how snatched that is.
Maybe you need to do a spin.
Yeah. I think you need to get up.
My ass is it's completely ripped down the side. It's not, but can you imagine?
Oh, I thought it was for a second. I was like, damn.
Wow.
That looks great. I don't know what brand this is, but
That's
it's
a
designer. Great look. Go to funnygirlvintage.com, look through their items, find a cute New Year's fit, enjoy yourself. And while you're there, if you want to get a little discount, 10% off with the word night.
How do you spell that?
I don't remember.
NIGHT.
I know that word's weird, so maybe it is.
Someone look it up.
Also, too, Funny Girl Vintage is opening a showroom in Culver City very soon. So if you're looking to book a one-on-one style consultation, go to funnygirlvintage.com or DM them on Instagram at funnygirlvintage, and they'll help you redesign your wardrobe for the new year. If you're looking for a new year, new me, your one-stop shop is Funny Girl Vintage. We love them, and thank you for sponsoring this podcast.
Thanks, funny girl. We love you.
Before we go into our advice questions, I would love to ask you guys, where would you guys like to be from a year from now? Where would you like to be a year from now? Or you can answer, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from this last year? Or both.
A year from now, I want to be at a good school.
Yay! You did it.
And I'm super excited. And I'll just add the other question too. I think the biggest lesson that I learned this year is just gratitude for everything, for every moment, for every experience, for every person.
I've also think too, like I've seen you grow so much like into yourself this last year. Like I just see you owning your power.
Well, yeah, I was in a job for the past 3 years that was great, but I kind of neglected my own ambition.
Personal stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And just like my own, I don't want to say self-care because I was doing a lot of face masks before that. You know, I was taking care of myself, don't get me wrong. But I think I was still seeking things that were not necessarily good for me. And I think I've kind of stopped that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Kind of been like, you know what? I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
I think so too.
That's good.
What about you
What
guys?
about you?
It's tough to say in a year from now because I'm trying not to. This last year has been so transformational that I'm hoping that if that level of transformation, whatever that looks like, could be replicated in a positive way, that'd be fantastic.
I think it will.
I would like to I'd like to finish my book. I keep mentioning this like really like in a weird way, but like with any writing project, it always feels completely like an insurmountable thing that will just never.
Totally agreed.
Work.
Never be done.
It'll never be done, and
It'll
feels
never be
impossible.
perfect.
So I just hope that it is possible and will happen.
I mean, look what you did this year.
Yeah.
What you did this year. Look at the win this
which
year.
should give me,
But no.
that should give me like there's evidence that you
Yeah,
can.
right.
But
There's
it's
actual
I hope I
evidence.
just it's my kind of like most fervent wish is that it is done, is at least done by the end of this next year. And what I've learned, I think the most is. As kind of cheesy as it sounds, it's really to just like let go and let God on everything because
Totally.
there's so many things that I was holding on to the year before and the year before that, just so many things that I just like really, I wanted to make things exactly the way they were supposed to be. And then I think over this year, I started to realize that it's really true that anything that's meant for you will make itself available to you and anything that's not meant for you will leave your life.
It's true.
Yeah, what's meant for you never misses you. And if
Seen
it
that
missed
happen.
you, it wasn't meant for you.
And I think learning it's going to happen regardless. So I think it's like having the grace to just accept the ride and try to remember that in those moments where something doesn't happen.
I think a year ago I started planning this. I started plotting this. This was about almost a year ago to the day was where I made the decision to really launch the
We
podcast.
recorded an episode. Like,
We did.
over a year ago.
Over
at
a
my
year.
old house.
Yeah, over a year ago. And
It was not called Night School.
it was, I think we called it Dollhouse or something insane.
Haunted, creepy dollhouse. Slay dollhouse.
Slay Dollhouse. And I couldn't have imagined how much fun I could be having doing this and how proud I am of what it's become. And, Keida was talking about on 2 episodes ago, like how good it looks and how professional it is. And, finding Keida, finding the cave, finding this place, finding you guys, everything kind of divinely falling into place. I couldn't have even fathomed it.
It does feel very divine.
It's divine.
the way it all happened. Like us
It was
sitting-
divine timing. I mean, it really feel like everything that happened was meant to be.
And it's so nice to round up this year seeing the success of the podcast already and how it's,
Yeah. I mean, to be close to 1,000 subscribers across the world in less than 4 months of launching is unheard of. Like, I'm gonna get emotional about it, but I'm like, I'm so proud of us, and I'm so
too.
proud of like
I'm
what
proud of
we've
you,
built.
too. I
And
really am.
You've killed
Aw,
it, Jesse.
Caitlin.
You've been boots down, slaying the world this year.
And my hope here is to create a community of women that feels supported, and not only just in the studio with you guys, but
already
like
have.
across. And I have.
We have German girls.
We have
And
our girl
6%
Elena.
men.
Yeah,
6%. We're not forgetting
we
about
love you
the
guys.
6%
Thank
of
you.
those men.
Yeah.
It might be slightly more because that's just the Spotify.
that's just the Spotify numbers. We don't know all the men.
Actually,
that are
we
listening.
have a lot of YouTube men now because of some
sort of weird fetish,
something.
but
We won't
say what.
mention because no shame.
no shame, no shame. It could be worse too.
Enjoy us however you enjoy us.
But I couldn't have imagined to have Kaylin in the studio and like just seeing this project pick up steam and come to life, to play the Comedy Store, to be on a lineup. One of my goals on my 2024 bucket list was to be on a lineup or open for a comic that I really respected, and a male one. And Keida just put me on a show with Ian Edwards, and like I got to meet him, and with Catherine,
so
and got to
fun.
meet
That show was
Catherine
great, by
Blanford.
the way.
That show was
amazing, Keida.
blast, Keida.
More of that. More of that.
It was crazy.
Please.
It was
love that room. The vibes
That's the
were.
best room in town.
It's the best room in comedy. Yeah, it's the best room in comedy.
Wait, are we allowed to talk about?
My baby reindeer moment. We're gonna save that for the Patreon. That the Patreon's coming. We'll talk about that after, Keida. That was fucking crazy.
Validation that you and Frank was like, I feel vindicated.
That's the only thing I'll say about it. There was something that was happening where my boyfriend was really struggling with it, and I was like, you are being crazy. You are being so sensitive. You need to chill. You're being an asshole.
She had my back.
And then afterward, it was a mutual feeling. And Frank was like, just slow looked at me and was like, after the entire show of just like bickering about it.
He looked at us while we were sitting on the patio at the Comedy Store, and he goes, I feel so vindicated right now.
He said to me, I've never had a night go from such shit to such magic in an instant. He was like, because he was getting really upset. He was like enjoying the show, but he was like pissed at me.
Yeah.
And pissed at what was happening.
And then he was out on the patio being like, yes. Yes. See, yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy. And I guess the biggest lesson I've learned is, I think you're like yours, Alana. Let go and let God.
Yeah.
Like that everything that is meant to find me will, and it's just a matter of time. And to also enjoy the ride, because I think about this a lot. My like number one source of entertainment is comedy podcasts, and I listen to a lot of the other comics talk about how, you know, the open mics and all that time was just such a dog shit time. But now that they've made it, there's a fondness to those memories where they were all in the trenches together.
I kept telling you this. I was like, Jesse, this show might suck, but like,
yeah,
the future ones won't.
Yeah, and like you're going to be on a show that you couldn't even imagine. And I think that kind of just goes to the whole theme of how I feel, is that it's like, you know, enjoy the ride of everything you've created, because you're going to look back on this with such fondness, and we're going to think about these moments and be like, God damn, we had no idea what's to come.
It's fun to be present and do that sort of recalibration. I think it's hard because when you're in the moment, you can be very frustrated.
Totally.
But once you put things into perspective, it's easy to realize how.
And it's all because of you guys. So thank you guys. We love you.
Thank you
And
guys.
all these women all over the world and our 6% male audience, we love you. And again, keep telling your friends. And I think that moves us on to our advice segment.
Oh, I love advice.
Do you need
too.
any?
It's my favorite part.
I know, I'm kidding.
Thank you guys for submitting questions. Again, keep them coming. tinyurl.com/night school advice. We will answer them weekly on the pod. It's completely anonymous, and we hope it is helpful. Okay, this is a really cool one. I've been really excited to tell you guys this. Okay. Hey guys, I came across your podcast via Instagram and I love it. I live in Europe and just wanted to let you know that you have an audience in one of the tiniest countries in the world. So there is this guy, and we had a thing like 2 years ago. We were never actually dating, but we had a Bumble match and we're texting a lot. He talked about going on a date with me, but eventually it never happened. I wanted to, but I didn't like him being so indecisive, and he didn't like me to stress him out, so there was no date. But we kept texting until we met by chance at a wine festival in our city. He was new, he had just moved from another city, and we were absolutely drunk. So we spent the night together in his new flat where we literally, and I quote, did the whole flat. You know, the shower, the washing machine, between the rooms, at the doors, on the chair, in his bed, like everywhere. And it was a crazy night. Oh my gosh, I had to work the next day. I had a 12-hour shift in the hospital. Jesus. But I had to do it without my underwear on.
Is that legal?
Because it got wet in the shower, so I worked a 12-hour shift straight.
That's why. She's being dramatic.
So I had to work a 12-hour shift with no underwear, and we kept texting. We never saw each other again in person except for tiny moments at ice hockey games or whatever.
What country is this?
My brain has just been going Finland.
Yeah. Finland,
Lithuania.
Finland or
Lithuania.
I don't
Norway.
know.
But
It's
we don't
probably
wanna
not
out her.
Finland, but my brain thinks Finland.
A cold ass country, that's where.
Yeah.
Please let us know where you're from. We're very curious.
Yeah, we won't expose you, but we want to know.
So we saw each other at ice hockey games, but we never met again. But we're still texting. And he texts me every now and then, and I kind of respond, but somehow I can't really detach from him. I'm assuming she means emotionally. A part of me always wants to know what could have been, and the texts we send each other are spicy AF. Am I stupid? Should I just reject him? I'm actually not stupid. Actually, I'm a fucking intelligent, real motherfucker. But with him, I just don't know. I mean, he's not treating me with respect, the respect I deserve, and I know that. But on the other hand, I enjoy it, which makes me a dumbass, doesn't it? What do you guys think? Should I just fuck him again just to know how it is? It's complicated, and I think he's hot, and I know he knows that I'm hot. I know he thinks I'm hot. And I really enjoy the sex, but I don't know what to do. Help.
I think she actually came up with a solution. Have sex with them one more time.
Yeah.
And
it could be
deflate the mystery.
Yes.
Pull the wizard behind the curtain and just see what's there.
When you're less drunk.
And then you can, instead of it being this like whirlwind experience that was also heightened by the fact that you were meeting for the first time and you were drunk. There's all these factors and it was very new and
to
intense.
build up.
And you're building up this night in your mind. Just go again. Go for another round. Who
knows what could happen? Maybe he'll
the
be
amount of times that you
vulnerable.
go for another round and you're like, that's what I've been thinking about for a year or whatever is like,
And maybe fuck him sober.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Or at least a little less.
No wine fest for you, Finnish girl.
A wine fest.
No more wine festivals or whatever your people do.
Because maybe that'll remove, like she said, the mystique. And it won't actually be as
crackers
hot.
and herring and a sound mind.
Yeah.
Am I being racist?
Maybe, but everyone's white there. So
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah, they're fine.
And if they're not, they're basically
I
white.
love Europe.
Yeah.
I love every place in Europe.
We
Every
can't wait
place.
to tour
We're gonna
2026.
tour. Europeans, get the fuck ready.
Get
Yeah,
ready.
please tell us where you want us to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Well, there'll be a mailing list up in January where you guys can sign up for where you'd like us to do a live podcast because we will be doing that.
And
in
it's going to be
2026.
more like
I'm
a
putting it out
hangout
there.
party, let's be honest.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's going to be us on stage, but like we're going to ask you guys questions. And
You guys can ask us questions. It's going to be completely unfiltered. We're not going to cut shit. You will have to lock your phones away because, but
it'll be really fun.
But it'll be
and
so
we'll
fun.
have an after party. I'll DJ. We'll get drunk.
DJ for a bit.
How is it?
It didn't work out.
Why?
I'm not good at it.
It just takes practice. I'm
Can't
not
spell.
good,
I
and I
can't
get paid
DJ.
for it.
Can't Google.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Nothing.
Queen, I aspire to.
Can't spell,
nothing.
can't count.
Can't
I'm just
DJ.
here for vibes.
I love that. We need that.
That's and
we
you're
need vibes.
you're the perfect vibe creator.
Back
Yeah.
to,
I think fuck him but if you do if you can't detach from him emotionally, that's the one thing I will say about friends with benefit situations. The only time it's ever worked for me is when I actually don't like the guy, where I'm literally like, you disgust me on some level, on some personality level, and you're literally just a dildo with eyes. Like, that's the only way it works.
I love
because
that
if
term.
because if you emotionally are attached to this person, this is always going to feel really unfulfilling. And if there's ever like a hope of you, like, what would it be if we were like together? And you want that, this is going to be really difficult. And fucking him one more time may just make that worse. But if you are able to be like, you know what? Also, make an ick list. I have an ick list of like things they've done. I save photos of them that I find really disgusting to remind myself that they ain't shit. So that's a good way to kind of like keep
do
the
that.
emotional barrier. But if you can keep it and you can hook up with them one more time,
list.
maybe sober and like let it go, you're good.
I am delusional. So I'm going to say, what if you like fall in love? Like, what if you guys have sex again and maybe not fall in love, but like he's able to be more vulnerable? Because it doesn't sound like this guy's like a bad guy. It sounds like he's flaky.
this is a rare situation where we're all kind of saying very different things.
Yeah.
So you're like, cut it off. You're like, what if you fall in love? And I'm like, you'll get over it if you go for it again.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably the most likely thing to happen is she's going to go there and then get the ick, what you're saying. But I'm saying, what
Built
if
up a fantasy in your mind.
what if it actually just took like a weird scenario and a second try? Because sometimes the first time you hook up with someone, especially if it's like
It was hot though. She said it was so hot.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was hot in like a mythcal way. It
exactly,
wasn't
and then
real,
it's
you know?
weird
It's like it was-
after
I
because
guess.
it's like
Yeah.
they're still texting and it's like the sexy thing. Like honestly, just be really vulnerable with him and see what happens.
That's the other
what I
thing.
think.
That's the
Yeah.
other
Be
thing you could do.
vulnerable.
Those two.
Be
That is true
vulnerable as
well.
fuck. Fuck him like he's your fuck buddy, but then like be like, hey, and tell him how you feel before he has the chance to figure out how he feels.
Yeah.
And then that will determine.
And also, because also if he then is like, no, like I have to cut this off, then crisis
There's your
averted.
answer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just think like not having, I think even if it ends horribly, you go back and you clear out the, you know, cobwebs of like something that you've kept in the attic for so long and you're like, think about. And if you go back and you acknowledge it and you turn the lights on and go, oh God, ooh, picture of Dorian Gray. Scary.
I love that book so much.
Yikes.
Yucky.
Then you see it and you go, yeah. And then, you know, a lot of the time, at least for me, that's what's actually gotten me over things,
Yeah.
is more experiencing the person.
It's
not
less for me. It's less. You gotta, I think what's gotten me over it is being vulnerable and being like, this is
Yeah.
how I feel. And then the person has the opportunity to either say, like, they either can do something about it and be with you, or they can,
Yeah.
or
You
they
go,
can walk
Are
away.
you going to marry me?
Yeah.
And then they say no. And then you,
And you're also, you work in a hospital, so you, I mean, you could poison him or like hurt him in some
I
way.
think we need to
I
be
would,
careful about our
fine, I'll cut
our
it.
illegal. We got a comment one time that kind of scared me.
I know, I
That
saw
was,
that.
oh, in our shrimp comments.
It's all
No, it wasn't
hypothetical.
shrimp. It was something else. It was like something I had said about like impersonating an attorney.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Someone was like, people have said a few times in our comments on Instagram reels.
We'll say hypothetical.
This is
Yeah,
a comedy
hypothetical.
podcast, and this is all satire.
None of this
Yeah.
is real. Everything we said here, a lie.
Also, if you're like, if you're genuinely like taking like advice from us in a way that's like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna follow them like the letter of the law, you're a fucking moron. Sorry, not
True.
sorry. Like, this is a comedy podcast. We're here for the girls, the gays, the dolls, the theys, and 6% men. This is like this is not where you should be like, yeah,
That's
I'm
actually a
going
really
to-
good slogan.
We're here for the
girls, the gays, the dolls, the theys, and the
them,
6%.
The 6% men.
Yeah.
And 6% of the male population.
Yeah, and 6% of the male population.
That could be a t-shirt. Merch
Right.
coming
Right.
soon.
Write it down. Okay.
Wait, before you leave.
Yeah.
or I say next time you hang out with him, maybe pack some more underwear so you don't get
Dude, Kaylin, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you don't have to go commando in the hospital
Yeah.
because I don't feel like I mean, maybe it was like airy,
It does make
but
me a little bit nervous about. I always thought that like European medical system like far outpaced the
Yeah.
American one.
Nope.
But there's a nurse going into a 12-hour shift who's hungover as shit, not wearing panties, and that scares me.
I went to the ER in Paris the night before clown school because I thought I was having appendicitis. I wasn't. I almost got trapped
was
there too
anxiety.
because there's no Ubers. I'm pretty sure it was anxiety, but based on that experience at that hospital, I'm good on the European. I'm gonna not get sick there. I'm sure there's some great hospitals. I think the healthcare is also much better there.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
like what
probably
you,
don't
what you
have
get
to
is
go.
better, but it's not necessarily like they're like, you know, do you need anything?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Okay, one more. I work as a bartender and I have a great relationship with my boss. We kind of feel like besties, but sometimes lines get blurred. Should I continue our friendship or should I keep it strictly professional to prevent future issues?
Keep it professional.
Keep it a friendship.
Fuck him.
You work at a bar.
It's a bar.
The three horsemen of the apocalypse. Keep it professional. Fuck him. Be friends.
That is professional at a bar.
That's kind of my
that's,
point. Yeah,
that's how I feel.
do you know what I mean?
I've
Like,
worked at a restaurant.
restaurant industry, everybody's fucking. Like, it's not.
But the thing is, with any kind of workplace stuff, you have to think about your livelihood, not the environment. There's plenty
That's
of
true.
environments where technically, like
point.
I've experienced this so much, where people are like, "Well, technically, the vibe in this place is really X, Y, Z,"
Yeah.
and I've succumbed to environments like that. It will always bite you in the ass, like always. It'll always go badly though, because you have to think about like the really worst case scenario. And when it's work related, it doesn't matter if you're like matching someone's unprofessional freak. You have to think about the worst case scenario. Like some real shit goes down where you're being thrown into the bus and your
Yeah,
job is
how
and
could it go wrong?
Who are
Yeah.
you speaking to and what kind of behavior are you going to have to account for? And I guess it's like how much you value your job. If you're like, well, I like this person, I'm enjoying my time here, and like if it goes to shit, then I don't care. That's one thing. But if you like the job,
Is it a
then-
romance thing? Is that what she's implying? I think yeah. If it's something that's like worth pursuing, there's so many bars. How much do you weigh out? Do you like your job? Do you like this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could also just be like a slimy person who tries to sleep with girls at work.
Yeah, that is true. If he's your
we
boss.
need more context. Circle back to us with like a little more context.
Yeah.
And we'll give you a little more like precise advice.
Yeah, because if there's also like an age gap, that changes things. If he's just a coworker, like.
Ooh, it's hot if there's an age gap.
You're like, dude, if there's an age gap. There's a little bit more. Also, I don't know what like the job market is in like the restaurant industry right now, but like if you're a bartender, so like if it's fairly easy to get another job, like.
It's a very saturated market
Also,
though. Like
this
I do
might
know.
help you get more hours. Like
Tea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
you might make more money. I say do it.
Yeah.
Tea.
I say live a little.
Yeah,
we
go
are
for the
kind of
plot.
heading into like
Also, if you're like 22
times.
and you're a bartender, live it up. If you're like 30, this has been your job for the last 5 years, you make really good money and you don't want to fucking shit where you eat, don't then. But
I doubt this is like some restaurant where she wants like to go career into.
It's a bar though, right?
It's a bar.
It's a bar,
It's
yeah.
a bar.
Bar. But it is a very oversized. It's a
you
very
also say
saturated
you
market.
have a great relationship with your boss. So to Alana's point, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
I would just be careful when people are getting unprofessional and blurring lines. Don't like, and there's that urge to go to whatever degree they're going to. I would always keep it just a little bit dialed back from
Yeah.
where they are. Don't get over comfortable. I've done it too many times.
And honestly, the more you can put it off, like the more you can see if you're actually compatible and if it's like worth pursuing other than just like
yeah.
corny. Like there also is something to be said because I'm so guilty in the film industry. I've had so many guys I've dated have been because I've met them at work or through, we work together. And I just think like part of it is because you're spending so much time together and it's like, ooh,
Forced
like
proximity
people,
romance.
yeah, forced proximity, but also like it's slightly taboo. Some places more than others, but I think there's something hot about that. Like, ooh, we're hooking up and our coworkers don't know.
You just hear.
I know.
They know.
They know. Yeah, everybody knows. I always find it though, like for me, like I'm the last thing I want to do at work is be like thinking about what my crush, like being worried about how I look or like how I present or like that's
Can't
like the
relate.
last thing I want to be thinking about at work. Like that makes me actually really anxious. It's why I never dated anyone at school either. Like when I was in high school, I never dated anyone because I hated it. It made me so anxious. I just wanted to get in there and get out. That's my personality type though.
That's crazy because when I on set, like the reason I show up to work and get my check is because I would have a work crush. If I didn't, I would want to
It
kill
gets
myself.
You through work. It makes it.
It does.
happy.
Even if you don't end up dating till like, because in film it's different because you're only
Yeah.
on shoots for like a couple months and then you have a wrap party where everyone gets wasted
And fucks.
and you might hook up. So it's this kind of build up thing.
Yeah.
And I loved that back in the day.
Yeah. I mean,
A
that
little
makes
romance
sense.
that like carries through like coming to work every day wanting to look a little cute for someone.
I hate that.
I loved
I hate
it.
dressing up for anybody.
I don't miss it though. I think it's a toxic environment to meet people, but works for some.
Okay, one more question and then we will wrap this up. Where did it go?
Put your glasses on.
Okay. This is an interesting one. I wonder what everyone's take's going to be. What the fuck is wrong with men? I recently came out of a 3-year relationship with a man child who ended up leaving me because he couldn't handle my life not revolving around him. I'm now 33, single, with zero hope of finding a man that's actually worth the trouble. Especially now at this age where I feel like the few good ones were snatched way back.
Untrue that the good ones were snatched because the divorce rate is extremely high and the breakup rate is high. And there's so many men out there who will come in and out of the world for you. Also,
Wait, was that the end of the question?
33 is
The
young.
question is, what the fuck is wrong with men?
Well, I think she's saying like, what do I like? She's hopeless. She's feeling hopeless. She's feeling 33,
Okay.
which for the record is young. My
Yeah,
parents didn't
it's
meet
so
till my mom
young.
was 34 or 5, and I wasn't born until she was 38.
Yeah, my mom
Your
had me
mom-
at 39.
So you're still very young, and all I would do right now is try to prioritize what you want in someone and use your past experiences with dating. I always do this. I don't know if you guys do this, but it's almost like I make a checklist after each dating
Yes,
experience
I do.
ends. And I'm like, what did I like about them? And I want to continue liking that about people. That wasn't some like weird toxic thing. And what did I not like? Like, what were the deal breakers that I learned I can't fuck with? Like, you know.
I do the same thing. I make a list of the things that I'm looking for in somebody and what I liked about them. And then I also put an asterisk next to the things that are like non-negotiables. Like for me, I need someone that's going to be like incredibly naturally inquisitive. Like I need someone that's going to want to learn about my life and like not just on a top level, like really like they don't have to have like come in with a really deep understanding of like comedy or podcasting or anything like that. But be very interested and inquisitive. That's like a non-negotiable. So I think to Izzy's point, really figure out what it is that you're looking for. And then if you're on the apps, another thing I say is like sign off for a bit. Like, and start putting yourself out in situations where you're meeting more people out in the world, because I think the apps have a tendency to make us feel really hopeless. And sometimes just putting that down for a bit and focusing on yourself, and then also focusing on broadening your social circle and the people that you're interacting with is really
that's a good way to meet people.
Is a really good way to meet
hang
people.
Out with hit up friends you don't usually hang out with. Go out with groups of people. But also, I will say, when I was on the apps, something I found when I have used the apps in the past that was helpful is to be really picky.
Yes.
Like extraordinarily picky, even if like look for anything that might like literally I remember at one point I saw a picture of a guy going skydiving. I was like, nope. Like it can be little things. You can tell a lot about people by, you know, I mean, you don't fully get to know people through like their profile and app, so it is kind of hard to like say, oh, yes or no to you can't tell.
It's also important to remember with apps, it's like, I think part of the hopelessness is literally just in the scrolling, because there's a lot of like people you don't find attractive. And that's really the main thing is like you're scrolling through and you're like, and then you find one attractive person and you swipe and they don't swipe on you, and then it's like, oh my God. But like you have to remember, it's like the apps are like, imagine like walking through subway cars and you like are forced to make eye contact with every single person on the subway car and determine whether or not you want to go on a date with them.
Yep.
Including like the guy breakdancing and the guy like talking to himself in the corner. And like
that's who I want.
Yeah. It was like that's who we often find ourselves ending up with. But
that's Kaylin's man.
It's like, and then you like see one guy on like on a train car like passing yours who's like cute, and you're like,
yeah. You're like,
and then he's like interested only in ethical non-monogamy. Yeah. You're like, fuck. So it's
short-term
just like
relationship.
It's a crazy concept that you're just like swiping endlessly through every single person in like a 6 mile radius.
That's why you have to be really picky, I think. And that also I've heard helps the algorithm understand your type and what to show you.
Yeah. And
is there one with the dating apps? Because it feels like they're just like, this is who's near you.
No, there is like you also can reset your algorithm if you go down to pause or delete your account and it asks you why, and you're like, I'm unhappy with my matches. It will clear your algorithm but let you keep all your old matches, but will start showing you new people. So it'll clear all the pre-algorithm set stuff it's set for you based on your other matches.
That's crazy.
But I also think, too, to Izzy's point, be very picky. And then before you go on dates, I am a huge proponent of asking them what they are looking for. I will not go on a date with somebody until I ask, what is it that you're on this app looking for? If they don't have it listed, find out. And 9 times out of 10, they'll tell me, the guy will say, I'm just got out of a relationship, I'm looking for something casual, or, trying to meet someone to get into a relationship. And after a while, you can kind of start to gauge based on their response, the level of seriousness because it's quite a direct question and it puts somebody on the spot, and seeing how they handle that. Because somebody who's ready for a relationship is going to be like, I'm looking to be in a relationship, like point blank, period. Yeah. And if there's any sort of dilly-dallying or anything like, or, vagueness, nebulous answers, you know that this person is not going to be aligned with what you want. And don't even waste your time. Don't go on the date. Also, there's a massive influx in single straight men going to church, so maybe find God.
That too.
Look. No.
You know what also works?
I'm talking for girls.
You would get arrested, Keida. If you walk your dog naked, you get arrested.
I agree. I disagree. I think for women, having a dog is different. All men have dogs. Men are dogs. But women having a dog, it's kind of like if there's a cute guy, like, maybe he'll say something like, oh, I like your dog.
You know what also works? Unfortunately, a baby.
You know,
When I was a nanny,
planning
I
on
used to-
getting pregnant next year. That was my New Year's
Jesus
resolution.
Christ.
That's yours?
I love that for you. New life. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to
support
kill
it.
you first. You're not going to get fucking pregnant.
When I was a nanny, I used to walk around Venice with the baby. And these guys would come over and they'd be like, wow, like she has your eyes. And I was like, I know. And then they were like, you look amazing for having just had a baby. And I was like, thank you.
See,
And they were like, what do you do? And I was like, Pilates. And then they were like, no, for work. And I was like, does it matter? I'm a young hot mom. This is my baby, my big-headed Egyptian baby, who kind of does look like me. She's a little bit brown.
Little bit.
So my advice is borrow a baby.
Borrow a baby, get a dog, go to church.
It triggers something primal within them. No
Yes.
ring on your finger, but a baby. A lot of like men that are willing to step up. That's who also you're attracting. Is you're attracting these men that are like
Stepfathers.
my primal urge.
The father that stepped up.
Yeah, my primal urge to be
Oh,
the father that stepped up. Is
Also,
Kakian.
let go of any absolute desperation or desire to be in with someone as best as you can. Like consciously work
Yeah,
on
true.
that. And the more you can be happy with being with yourself, that's when those people come in. I swear it's an energetic thing.
It is.
But
That's a
it's
really
when
good
you
point.
least expect it.
Yep.
I could tell you about weeks in my life where I truly was like, I don't give a fuck about dating. And then 4 people from my past text me. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It's true. There is a bit of like when you least expect it kind of thing.
Let go and let God.
go
That's
and
our
let God.
advice for you.
Let go and let
We
God.
can all agree on that.
Well, guys, that wraps up our New Year's
Wait, wait.
episode.
before you end it, if something goes viral, I'll do a face reveal.
Thank you, Caitlin. I love you.
A face
A face reveal.
You guys hear that? If you make something go viral, another how many millions of views does the shrimp one have?
Over 3.
Over 3.
You do another over 1 million
We'll
viral.
do
You'll
a
get
face,
a face reveal.
You'll get a face
So
reveal.
if you
And
care,
Kaylin,
If you care.
should we do a face reveal?
yes.
I just skin my face on
Yeah, we're
camera.
all wearing really intricate prosthetics. This is not what we look like.
No, you'll never know.
You'll never know.
Well, thank
I
you-
actually look like Jessie. Jessie looks like Alana. Alana looks like me. We all got them to match each other. Anyway, I'll shut up.
Thank you guys for joining. We'll
Love
see you
you.
guys next week. Happy New Year.
Happy
No,
New
we'll
Year.
see you guys next year.
Oh, we'll see you guys next
see you
year.
next year.
2025, bitches. It's our
Happy New
year.
Year.
Too.
You might see her. Make us viral. Come on.
Make us viral. Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.